You were on that trajectory, and we're looking at what this means for the country.
Sure.
We want to regularize the budget cycle. That's what the Buhari government has said for over 2 budget cycles now. But that seems not to have happened. What is the disease bedeviling this aim or this objective or this vision?
Well, I think, first of all, there's a systemic problem, and there's also a constitutional problem. I'm not happy with the way our 1999 budget has made provision for the role of Parliament. It's very odd, and with all respect to my honorable colleague here, it's very odd for a Parliament to be seen increasing the budget, which is what happened in 2018. You have powers to reduce the budget, but I don't think you have powers to increase it. It is the person who wears the shoes, knows where it is pinching. You are not the government. You are legislators. And if the executive comes with a budget, you have no moral authority to say, no, increase it, increase it, increase it. Meanwhile,
so when the bracket has been set by the executive, the legislature does not have the power to increase.
In our
That should be the moral.
In our constitution, it is vague, so they interpret it the way they like. But in all civilized democracies, it is never a situation where you can increase the budget when the executive says, no, reduce it. You have powers and moral authority to reduce it. Or, suggest things like, adjust here and there. But that is not really the spirit in which these things are done. A lot of other things happen which are not fair. Number two, also, I think there is the issue of capacity. I've been invited to some of those budget presentations occasionally, and the Parliament works with some consultants. Look, before even they reach that level, they should hire consultants to present their overall thoughts on the budget, even as the Ministry of Budget and Planning are preparing the framework. Let there be a meeting of minds of the framework, so that when the first draft comes, it's not a surprise. They have something to work on, and they can, for that moment, forget partisan issues and concentrate on agreeing a budget that meets the needs of Nigerians. We are not doing that.
Should those lawmakers walk out or not attend the presentation of the budget by the president? What would that mean?
I think it would be very wrong for them for whatever reasons. If you have political differences, manage those political differences. But for the sake of the budget, it's the budget of the people of Nigeria.
But is it not right also for them to say, President, executive, you're doing the wrong thing? And by way of protest, not attend?
Well, I think it makes more logical sense for them to be there to tell the man to his face that they don't like what he's doing.
But I'm not sure by manner of convention that the lawmakers have the right to banter with the president, to ask him to engage in a Q&A with the president.
Well, then they should vote out this man and get a person who is ready to be a proper interlocutor with Parliament. That is what it should be.
You guys want to protest, the honorable members. And looking at the implication of that and the reasons for that, you are part of those who look into the details of the budget. How bad are things?
Well, things are quite bad in the sense that in 2018, when the president presented a budget of about 8-point-something trillion, everybody was questioning how this budget would be funded. We asked questions, and in defense, they said they were going to fund the capital provision, which was about 2.3 trillion, from borrowing, and the only approval that has come, or the only letter that has come before the National Assembly for approval was the Eurobond, which was about $2.8 billion. National Assembly quickly approved the Eurobond, but even if you convert the Eurobond to Naira, it comes to about 500 and something billion Naira. If you use that, and meanwhile, between when the budget was signed in June to date, less than 15% of the capital has been provided. So if you add the 500 and something billion from the Eurobond to the 15%, you have barely 30-something% implementation of the capital.
Of the 2018 budget?
Of the 2018 budget. So the question...
Is that the lowest we've seen in recent times?
Probably so. So the question arises as to, okay, now you want to present the 2019 budget. You have promised to increase minimum wage. The figures are going to go up. we're probably going to see a budget of about 9 point something, if not 10 point something trillion. What are your plans to implement? We need clear explanations to this. And if we don't get these explanations, then we'll be doing Nigerians injustice to go and rubber stamp and approve that budget.
So why don't you wait for the president to bring it to you and then act on it and adjust it the way you think it should be?
That's why I beg to differ with my colleague here when he said the National Assembly doesn't have the powers to increase. In 2018, we did not unilaterally increase the budgetary provision. What we did was the president presented an MTEF with a benchmark of $45 per barrel sales. And we said $45 per barrel was a bit low, and we adjusted it to $51 per barrel. But time will vindicate us in the National Assembly, because as I speak to you today, since that budget was signed, there is no time that oil has sold for less than $50 per barrel. It's fluctuated between...
Even with the current price of oil, a barrel right now,
yes.
Global oil, price,
yes.
And the MTEF, is it still realistic to maintain that price?
Yes, because right now we're selling oil is fluctuating between $71 to $80 per barrel, and there's a differential of about $20 per barrel. So what we are saying is that there's an excess.
Okay.
What has happened to this excess? National Assembly, Nigerians need to know.
Okay. You've been in the CBN, you've always been involved in analyzing and maintaining those figures. For Nigeria going forward, what does this mean economically for us? Making life more difficult or making life better? For the plan,
Actually,
the MTEF, and what you see?
Actually making life more difficult. But still, my honorable colleague, that is even part of the problem. I don't think it is the duty of Parliament in a civilized country to tell the government that, no, the benchmark you have is wrong. We believe it's another. You are not the government. You are legislators. You are not the government. It is the government that has the bounden duty of managing the economy. And if they decide that this is the best... If they decide that this is... I'm not defending the government too. And I think this government is a complete failure. But let's just get it right. I didn't say you don't have the legal right. You don't have the moral right. That is what I think.
Okay, but I'm thinking if they are lawmakers.
Yes.
When the budget is passed into law,
yes.
and they are lawmakers.
Yes.
Don't they have the power of appropriations?
No, they have the power of... I'm not saying they don't have the power of appropriation, but tinkering with the technicalities, I don't think it is their duty.
Okay.
Because, in fact, it ended up increasing the budget.
Okay.
That was not, you should have known more than anybody else that if you change the benchmark, it will increase the budget. But the point I'm making is that all of this is not good for the Nigerian people.
Okay.
We need
a
better approach to the budgetary process, to appropriation, and to implementation. The way we are doing it now is disastrous.
All right. In 10 seconds, next week, Wednesday, it's going to be a showdown for the president, isn't it?
Well, I don't necessarily think so. I think that no matter how the showdown turns out, all the National Assembly will be saying to Nigerians is that we're dissatisfied with the implementation of the previous budget.
All right. I must sincerely thank you. It's been a very, very expository one tonight on the program. Honorable Lego Dagwo, thank you so much for coming on the program. Dr. Obadiah Mailafia, always a pleasure talking to you about these figures. You talk about these figures in a calm way, even when the figures are tensed.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Well, that's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for being part of it. I'm Sean Akimbale. Bye-bye.